Hello, my name is Christy Allen, and I'm here with Ingrid Matthews, and we are excited this evening to share with you a way to have the best teaching assistant you might ever have in the classroom. What we're going to look at is Tower Garden by Juice Plus, and we're talking about how green is your stem. So Tower Garden is a unique aeroponic way of growing food in the classroom, and it provides your students with a hands-on learning experience that keeps them engaged, and excited about it, and they get to see the rewards of the harvest. I know that a lot of teachers felt like growing food was an optional way to include their kids in learning about nutrition, to learning about science, but usually the gardens were outside in the summertime. And I don't know about you, but at our school, the janitor ended up taking care of it in the summertime. So having a way to grow produce in the classroom in as little as 4 weeks is awesome. So what is the method of growing? The Tower Garden is an aeroponic growing system, and it uses air and water to grow the plants. And as you can see in this picture here, the roots hang down inside the Tower Garden. There's a submersible pump that pumps the water up to the top, and this highly oxygenated water kind of filters down. So I know that for me, when I started to investigate aeroponic growing, it did start at NASA. It started back in the 70s, and they were exploring ways to grow food faster and without soil, which you're not going to send that into space. Soil is heavy, and soil is full of our contaminants. So you're not going to send that into space. And as I said, very little water too. It uses only 2% of the water in the same space. So as far as ecology goes, the Tower Garden is right up there at the top. And this is a way to talk about soil and water conservation with your students.
State-of-the-art aeroponic vertical garden system uses both water and air to produce more colorful, better tasting, and incredibly nutritious fruits, vegetables, and herbs. Tower Garden has a 20-gallon reservoir at its base that stores the Tower Tonic nutrient solution. Developed by experts in plant and human nutrition, Tower Tonic Mineral Blend enables superior plant growth and better nutrition from your Tower Garden produce. The process begins once the seedlings have been placed in your Tower Garden. Here they will be nourished with Tower Tonic nutrient solution. Inside the reservoir is a small, low-wattage submersible pump. The pump pushes the nutrient solution up through the tower to the top. From there, the nutrient solution drips through the central tower using a special device that evenly cascades the solution over the exposed plant roots. On the journey down the tower, the nutrient solution feeds the roots and becomes highly oxygenated as it cascades gently down the reservoir. This process is continuous, providing fresh oxygen, water, and nutrients to the roots of the plants. This patented aeroponic process enables food crops to grow faster than they would in soil, so they can be harvested more often. And it makes Tower Garden the healthier, easier, smarter way to grow your produce.
So I don't know about you, but the two words that stuck out in that is easier and smarter. These are some pictures of how quickly the Tower Garden grows produce. These did come from seedlings. You can see on the far left. Seedlings are usually about an inch tall, and you can buy those from authorized seedling providers for Tower Gardens. That means that they were started with pure water. They come in the rock wool that just fits in the Tower Garden perfectly. Or you can do seeds also, and obviously work with your students on the life cycle of plants. But look at 2 weeks later, how much bigger they were. And 3 weeks later, this person had to put their support cage on because the tomato plants were actually, you can see on the bottom, they're starting to grow out. Here's a time lapse, a 4-week time lapse of how quickly the Terra Garden can grow. Isn't that awesome?
Mhm.
I want to point out that there's actually squash at the bottom there. So it does take a little bit of education. Many students are used to the ground, the horizontal ground type of gardening. And so you can use the Terra Garden as a way to build on what they know about gardening and actually spark some enthusiasm in them. Because after all, we promised you a great teaching assistant, right?
Mhm. That-
So the Terra Garden comes with a teacher's guide where you can actually follow some of their lesson plans and activities, work with your students to, talk about growing, what's the benefits, the ecology, showing how the Terra Garden works, what's aeroponic growing. It's actually the growing system of the future because there is no more land. We're not going to make more land, but we do need to grow more food. And that's also a discussion to have with them. A lot of times it's been shown that kids are much more likely to eat what they grow than just what that comes in the stores. And I'll tell you a secret, what's grown on the Terra Garden is actually tastier, has more nutrition and is tastier than what you might buy in the grocery store. So you could actually take your lessons and have them come alive with the Terra Garden. The students are going to participate in every step, and that they can learn about growing from seed. And this is an area where you science teachers, I'm sure you're already thinking about how you could use this. And with the dolly, by the way, the Terra Garden will go to where the learning is occurring. So if you have pods and you need to roll the Terra Garden into a pod area, it's easy to do. It has project-based learning. The lesson plans and activities that come with the Terra Garden talk about seeds and reproduction and root systems and stems. So they have wonderful PowerPoints with pictures and things that you can use. These are just some more examples of ways to teach with the Terra Garden. Talking about the different types of food, fresh, frozen, canned, being a plant investigator, the interdependence of people with plants, because I got to tell you, my experience at an elementary school level was kids did not understand that food was grown. They thought it came from Walmart or McDonald's, and they didn't know that it had to be grown somewhere. So there are a lot of different ways that science teachers or the science curriculum can work with a Terra Garden. Back to project-based learning, you've got, as I said, the sustainability of growing in the United States today, water conservation, very timely topic right now, as we all know. And what's the difference between urban and rural? I mean, I like to call myself an urban gardener. Ingrid's an urban gardener, right?
Mhm, that's right.
Or farmer. We're urban farmers, excuse me, urban farmers. So we are growing large amounts of produce, but it's vertical growing and it's super easy. What's also easy is to put the Terra Garden together. So engineering comes into play. And I think you should look at these ages of these kids. They actually look preschool to me. And you can use that to work with your students. How to put the Terra Garden together. What does it take? The fact that it was designed a certain way to be easy. Once again, this little kid is checking the pH because you're going to discover that not all water is the appropriate pH for plants. And this allows kids to get involved in making sure the pH matches the plants. And I love, love, love to ask the students if how much a gallon of water weighs and should we fill the Terra Garden before or after we put it on the dolly. So that's always a fun thing. It creates whole food for the whole family. A lot of schools are having, they sell the produce to the parents and it's like a little farmer's market, and the kids actually get into entrepreneurship and counting change and money. The other thing I've seen a lot of is the students will host a luncheon for parents to come, and they will serve them a luncheon made out of what they grew on the Terra Garden. So art, isn't this beautiful? This is not only what you can grow on a Terra Garden, but how you can make a Terra Garden just totally beautiful. And I've seen lettuces planted in Terra Gardens that looks like diagonal stripes up that are just amazing. You don't want to pick anything to eat because it's so pretty. Going back to math, you can compare sets when you do the seedlings and you plant your own seeds in the rock wool, measuring the harvest, weighing them, interpreting your data, adding and comparing money. You know, what would it cost if they bought this in a store versus they grew it? And what did that cost? Have your students write about what it's like to grow in a Terra Garden. You know, they can, first of all, new vocabulary. You can use sensory words. There's just a lot that you can do as far as language arts about comparing and contrasting and writing opinions. So this is a very much a community project, and the kids are going to really gain a lot about what it takes to grow their own food and the difference it makes for the community. And you could even do some history about how different events have influenced the history of agriculture in America today. Remember that tower tonic I talked about that came from NASA? Well, science teachers, you're going to relate to this. This is that periodic table of elements, and the brown elements are things that that plants need to grow. And if your soil does not have these, then you're going to have to fertilize. The green are what the scientists at NASA added, the minerals they added to the Terra Tonic liquid, because it was designed by experts in plant and human nutrition. So this means the plants don't really need these elements, but humans do. Therefore, the nutritional quality of the food is a lot higher than it would be in an organic garden. And they did a study, NASA did a study that on aeroponic growing, and it showed that they uptake more minerals and vitamins compared to any other growing technique. And you're going to see that in the flavor and the robustness of what the plants look like. Also, tower to table. Yum, yum. I know one area that's doing a taco tower. They're growing all the things you would use to put in tacos. You can do a theme tower like that, but there also is a tower to table cookbook that the kids can follow. Very simple recipes, but they can grow everything that's needed, almost everything in the recipes. Once again, as I said, kids are much more likely to eat what they have grown, and this is a great way to bring in nutrition education. Getting them to try different varieties of fruits and vegetables is huge. Once again, you know, a lot of kids, they don't know what a pear is. They don't know what a variety of fruits are. They don't know different vegetables. I know myself, I'd never tasted mustard greens. I didn't know why I would. It is such a spicy green. It's awesome. I love it. But introducing them to new and different types of food and seeing if they'll eat them is something that really contributes to the nutritional education for your students. So I want to thank you for taking the time to attend our presentation tonight. We would love to hear more from you. You know, if you have any questions, because Ingrid and I are partners with you in the fact that our children are our future, and Terra Garden is one of the best teaching assistants you will ever have.